Galveston, Texas, a city known for its rich history and beautiful coastline, is also a place where tragedy and the supernatural intertwine. One of the most infamous locations in this city is a Walmart, built on the site of an orphanage destroyed by the devastating hurricane of 1900. This Walmart, located at 6702 Seawall Boulevard, is not just a place for shopping. It's a hotspot for paranormal activity, rooted in the tragic events that occurred over a century ago. To understand the haunting, we must first revisit the catastrophe that set the stage. On September 8th, 1900, Galveston was struck by a massive hurricane, still considered the deadliest natural disaster in U.S. history. With winds reaching up to 145 miles per hour, the storm surge overwhelmed the island, causing widespread destruction and the loss of approximately 8,000 lives. Among the many buildings destroyed was the St. Mary's Orphan Asylum, situated near the current site of the Walmart. The orphanage, run by the Sisters of Charity, housed 93 children and 10 nuns. As the storm intensified, the nuns tied the children to their waists with clothesline to prevent them from being swept away by the floodwaters. Despite their efforts, only 3 boys survived, clinging to a tree throughout the night. The rest, including the nuns, perished as the orphanage was torn apart by the hurricane. Decades later, in the 1990s, Walmart constructed a new store on this hallowed ground. From the beginning, employees and customers reported strange occurrences. Many believe that the spirits of the lost children and nuns still linger, unable to move on from the tragedy that claimed their lives. One of the first signs of the haunting appeared during construction. Workers reported hearing children's laughter and footsteps in the unfinished building. Tools and materials would go missing or be found in inexplicable places. At first, these incidents were dismissed as pranks or the workers' imagination. However, as the reports increased, it became clear that something otherworldly was at play. Once the store opened, the paranormal activity only intensified. Employees in the stockroom frequently hear the sound of children giggling, running, and playing, especially late at night. Some have even claimed to see shadowy figures darting between the shelves, only to vanish when approached. Cashiers have experienced their own share of strange occurrences. Registers open and close on their own, and items on the conveyor belts move as if pushed by invisible hands. One night, an employee named Maria was closing her register when a cold hand touched her shoulder. Turning around, she saw nothing but empty space. Shaken, she quickly finished her tasks and left. But the experience stayed with her, as it did for many of her colleagues who had similar encounters. Customers are not immune to the hauntings either. Some report hearing disembodied voices calling out to them, often in the voices of children. Others have felt inexplicable cold spots while shopping, despite the store's air conditioning being set at a constant temperature. On several occasions, shoppers have seen what they describe as nuns walking down the aisles, dressed in old-fashioned habits. These apparitions always disappear before anyone can approach them. One of the most compelling stories comes from a security guard named David. During his night shifts, he would patrol the store and the surrounding parking lot. One night, he saw a group of children playing near the entrance. He approached them, concerned for their safety. But as he got closer, they vanished into thin air. After reviewing the security footage, he was shocked to see that the cameras did not capture the children he had clearly seen. Another eerie event involved a customer named Sarah, who visited the store with her young daughter. While shopping in the toy aisle, her daughter began talking to someone who wasn't there. When Sarah asked who she was talking to, the little girl replied, "The boy who wants to play." There was no one else in the aisle. Disturbed, Sarah quickly left the store, but her daughter continued to mention the boy for days afterward. During the Halloween season, the activity seems to spike, with more reports of ghostly sightings and strange noises. Employees have heard the faint sound of hymns being sung, reminiscent of the nuns' prayers. The store's electronics, such as TVs and radios, turn on and off by themselves, often playing static or old-time music. The toy section is particularly active. Toys move on their own, and dolls are found in different positions than they were left in. One employee, Jessica, was restocking shelves when a ball rolled down the aisle towards her. She picked it up and placed it back on the shelf, only for it to roll off again moments later. She left the toy where it was and hurried away, unwilling to test her nerves further. Employees working in the bakery have reported hearing the sound of children's laughter and singing, even when the store is closed. One baker, while preparing dough early in the morning, saw small handprints appear on the flour-covered counter. He wiped them away, only for them to reappear minutes later. Disturbed, he transferred to a different department soon after. In the restrooms, faucets turn on and off by themselves, and mirrors fog up with handprints, visible in the condensation. Some employees refuse to use the restrooms alone, fearing what they might encounter. The janitorial staff often find paper towels strewn across the floor, and graffiti written on the mirrors that reads messages like, "Help us," or simply names of the lost children. Several paranormal investigation teams have visited the Walmart, capturing voice recordings that include children's voices, nuns singing hymns, and calls for help. Thermal cameras have detected cold spots and unusual heat signatures that correspond with reported sightings. One investigation team even recorded the sound of a bell ringing, similar to the one used in the orphanage to call the children to meals. Despite these unsettling occurrences, the Walmart remains open, serving the local community. In recent years, Walmart management has even invited local clergy to bless the store, hoping to ease the spirit's unrest. While these efforts have provided some comfort, the paranormal activity continues, suggesting that the spirits of the children and nuns are still seeking closure. Hey, human, I'm Mr. Bones. Take a look at some more of my creations. I put them on the screen to touch with your human finger. What are you waiting for? Just use your hand and